Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, good whatever time of day it may be for you. I am the Laid Back Gamer, and I'm bringing something. Excuse me. I'm bringing something a little different for Elder Scrolls Legends. Now, I said I was going to be doing my reviews, and indeed I am. However, in order to I would like to first finish up on a review that I'd meant to do for a little bit of time now, but now since we're deep into the Houses of Morrowind, now is, well, one of the better times. What am I talking about? I'm talking about covering the last expansion to come out, and how did it impact the game, now that we know the final results of it. I'm also going to be talking about the Forgotten Hero set, which was a small 1,500 in gold, or $9.99 in money, if you chose that route. Set of cards that you can only get from the shop. Very similar to the Madhouse. And, well, we're going to see just how well those two have impacted. Now, I took a look at my previous video, and, well, I did get some things right. Some of the stuff that I had said I'd completely missed. I thought some certain cards were going to be more powerful than others, but yeah, I had missed it on some of them. A couple of them I had called correctly, and even in the sorry, I just had dinner and I'm choking on myself apparently. Even with my honorable mentions, that category, I'd underestimated the power of the card. Anything I put in a couple things I put in potential definitely made it, but for the most part, it was kind of a 50-50 split. I was about half right, half wrong-ish. Close enough. But now we're going to actually see what did this change. It did not change too much. However, some cards did see some play. We saw some play from actually quite a few of these cards. The treasure hunt mechanic that was introduced was attempted. I don't remember seeing too much of it a month or two after the expansion, but you know, people tried. So without further ado, I'm gonna go ahead and list the what I believe is the top 5 cards to come out of the Clockwork expansion. This is in no order in particular. This is just an order that I've listed down. So one of the cards is Lanneth. And I said this card had a lot of potential. I personally did not think it was going to be played as much, just because it's a very high cost card. And then I saw how often I got to that point in the game, and realized, and over the months I realized, yeah, Lanneth is a really good card. So I said she had a lot of potential, but I underestimated just how good Lanneth is. So that definitely makes the top 5. The next one I got on my list is Holo Death Priest. Now, for those of you who don't, well, obviously the stats on the screen, but I believe I had said this is going to be one of the more powerful cards of the set, if not the most. And while I do not believe it is the most powerful card of this set, it is definitely still a top 5, very, very easy. I mean, the ability to potentially snipe your opponent's the key combo minion, or something really powerful from your opponent's hand, like Lanneth, for example, or one of the gods from the new expansion, like Vivek, Dagoth Alamexia, I think I said that right, or Sothasil. To pick one of them off with Holo Death Priest, you just saved yourself so much trouble. Especially with the 3 gods in the Tribunal. You take one of them out, you just set yourself up for guaranteed to have control for the next few turns until the next god comes out. But yeah, very powerful card, and I do not believe I underestimated it. It's right about where it is. And another one to come out, and this one surprised me. I believe Phalanx Exemplar is one of the more powerful cards who came out of this expansion. Why do I say that? Well, just look at the stats on that. It's a big guard. It'll soak up a lot of damage. I've played with it, and it's gotten value and then some. The prophecy effect is just a bonus. You're not often to get hit it. It's not often to happen, but when it does happen, you now have another one too to play with. And may I say this? Because it has that 5 attack, if your opponent has not healed, it's guaranteed whenever it attacks to break a rune. You get a Septum Guard. You play the Septum Guard, and if you're playing House Halahu, you got your plot. That's the card you use to plot with. Perfect. Well, not a perfect, but a very good card to have in House Halahu, in my opinion, and for that reason, and the reason why that it's a big guard for its cost, I definitely say it's one of the more powerful cards to come out. Now, I have this one as an honorable mention, but I do believe Mechanical Heart is another very strong card to come out. I'm not going to put it in top 5, but I do think this is a strong card. I've seen, I think, Tribunal use it once or twice, and it's just to make sure that it's that insurance. It's the insurance policy. You play this, you know, unless your opponent has support removal, you're not going to lose. You're not going to lose when you hit 0 the first time. Second time you might. And even outside of Houses of Morrowind, Singleton, this card proved very valuable. If you saw any class that had willpower, it was almost a given that I'm going to face a Mechanical Heart. And I either have to gun him down quickly, or have enough damage after the Mechanical Heart, because if I don't and he goes back up to 10, he could come back just like that. Dawn's Wrath on my 1 lane, I lost it. I lost quite a bit of card. I lost quite a few creatures. Or Javelin and Cast into Time. Cards like that. So this is on my honorable mentions, but I don't think it's top 5 to come out of Clockwork City. Alright, so next one. Again, I also underestimated it. Fabricate. Fabricate. Basically, what's your situation? Think of it. If you say you're starting off the game, look at your hand, you want to play on curve, what do you need to score? Oh, I need to score a 3-drop? Hey, I get a 3-drop this time. What effect do I want? Drain is okay. Gain 2 health is not too bad. I can do that right now. Lethal's okay with this creature. Ward would be nice. You just have a lot of possibilities with Fabricate. Sometimes you get shafted and it doesn't work, but for the most part, you tend to be able to fabricate a creature that can suit any situation. On average, I'd say it works maybe 80% of the time. You get the exact thing you need to deal with the situation. About 10% of that time, it's okay. This is not exactly what I want, but I can use it. I can still use it, and potentially something comes good out of it. And then the other 10% of the time is, yeah, it didn't work out. So, a very powerful card, and I underestimated it. I did not think it was going to be, like, I didn't think it was a bad card, but I did not think it was going to be very good. And then the last one I'm going to put on there is Dragon Aspect. And of course, I put this as one of my favorites. I didn't think it was going to be as powerful or as used. I see this from time to time, and it can make the difference. You just have to be careful on which creature you use it, because if you accidentally use it on a Pilfer creature, it gets the Pilfer effect, which is very annoying. I've attacked plenty of creatures that had a Pilfer effect on accident, and then I'm just going, oh, I messed up. I didn't want I want him to gain health. And so, or gain the effect that it has. And so, often, sometimes people, I know first month of this card being out, guaranteed people misplayed with it all the time. As soon after the first month, maybe two, everybody kind of started going, okay, I know how to play with this card now. And it's great. I've used it so many times to get myself out of a lethal situation. My opponent has lethal on board. I have a level 3 dragon aspect in hand. I attack the lowest attack creature, or it's situational depending on what I use it on. But I attack with it. I clear the board. I do my best to put up some guards. Suddenly, he doesn't have lethal even with what he's got on the field. Yeah, he can have an action to remove my guards, but because I use dragon aspect, I'm good. I'm set for another turn. And is one of the cards that I'll put in almost any deck, unless I have otherwise, that I can use, that I know I'm going to get some health back for this, or I'm going to be able to use this to pick off a key minion. Or even, I need to get a prophecy card. And I happen to have low enough health to be able to dragon aspect one creature on the board, and after the creature does damage to me, he will break a rune, and I have a chance at a prophecy. Sometimes, yes, it works. Sometimes it doesn't. But that's why I like dragon aspect, because if you play with it smart over just playing with it, this card can save you, can give you the right card off of a rune, or you can use it to snipe off a key minion for your opponent. That's why I think it's a very powerful card. Only if you use it right. If you don't, then it's not. Then it's just, and then it's just an average card if you don't use it smart. All right. That being said, let's go ahead and move on to our Forgotten Heroes set. Now, this was one that I had no idea was coming out. Absolutely none. Basically, this thing, I knew it came out. I knew that this thing was coming out basically as soon as I logged in the day it came out. That's how unaware I caught by surprised I was by this. So I wasn't able to do a review on it at the time, but I do have a top 3 cards of the Forgotten Heroes set, and I'm going to start with my honorable mention. And they're only here because they made a very interesting impact on the game. And why do I say they? Well, because it's not one card in this honorable mention, but 3. Because I cannot talk about Set's masterwork on its own. I cannot talk about Mordecai the Deathless on his own. I cannot talk about Siege of Stros Makai on its own. Why? Because they all use the same effect if you started the game with no duplicate cards in your deck. That, I know for first month, couple of months, even after this came out, it had a huge impact on the game. I'm not saying these cards are something fantastic, because, you know, they're kind of like your average cards, and they're restricting you very heavily. But it made people play with only one types. It made people do, hey, challenge accepted. I bet I can do this. And so, while they might not be the best, they have been one of 3 of the most impactful cards at the time, especially since Return to Clockwork City. It added in new cards, and it created one new deck list, but it challenged people to try to play with every class you can in this game. It challenged you to go, I want to play this as a singleton format. They even released a weekend event based on this, where I forget the event, and I don't know what they are. I think it was called Singleton Event, so I'll use that. They released the Singleton Event, and basically, whenever you go in, you had no idea, because this was brand new at the time. So you had no idea what your opponent could be playing with. But the only things you knew is that you knew what class they were, you had a rough idea on what cards they'd play, and Set's Masterwork, Morokai the Deathless, and Siege Stros Makai, all three of them in there. And some games it was, who's the first to Siege Stros Makai? Because if I get anything but Set's Masterwork, any support, and say I get, I don't know, Iron Atronach off of that, I'm gold. I'm good. So, these three, most impactful at the time. That's why they deserve a spot on the honorables mentions list. And again, I can't talk about one without talking about all three of them. Alright, in our number 3 spot, I put Cradle Crush Giant. Now, this one was I've seen the most of it since this got released. I've seen Cradle Crush the most. I run Cradle Crush Giant in a couple of my decks, and the summon effect is amazing. Yes, it does one less than Ice Storm for intelligence, but the exchange is you get a 6/4 for the cost. It's a powerful card. Again, you have to use it right. If you use it poorly, or say you just throw it out, it's not good. Like everything in this game, you have to use this right. This one is a little more easy to use, as you look at your opponent's side of the board, how many creatures do they have that's 2 health or less? And that doesn't have a ward. Alright, Cradle Crush gains value. And with the new Fighters Guild Hall, if you have that in play, any of your creatures that take a little bit of damage, they gain 2 attack. They get 2 free attack for taking 2 damage, and that might be able to win you the game. I have some ideas on how to use Fighters Guild Hall, but I haven't quite implemented them in yet. This Cradle Crush Giant is a much stronger version of... Oh, what is that card called? I'm sorry, I'm forgetting the names of everything here. It's in the core set. That much I know. I think it's Wild Pyromancer. I just want to make sure I get Scandinavian Pyromancer. It's a stronger version of that. It has 1 more health, 4 more attack, costs 3 more mana, and deals 1 more damage. It's a stronger version of this, and it works. It works. Alright. Back to here. Take that off. And our number 2 spot, I put down Namira Shrine. Now, honestly, when I first saw this card, I did not think it was going to be that good. I said, why would you play this? Aggro decks would play this, but it doesn't make sense for an aggro deck to play it. Because the point of aggro is to try to dump your hand onto the field and kill your opponent as quickly as they can. They're not going to save 3 cards. But again, that's the Hearthstone player in me talking. That's the Hearthstone player in me thinking. Because oftentimes in Hearthstone, you could be out of cards by turn 4. But in this game, most of the time you're holding on to these cards. You have a bigger deck list to pick from. You have 50 cards, anywhere from 50 to 100 cards, over 30 cards to choose from. And I forgot about that. And now looking back, I'm realizing I was a bit of a fool. I underestimated Namira Shrine. I thought this was going to be played more in a control deck. And, well, I see it in a few different... I saw one in a game I played today with just a random deck. Actually, I think I also may have saw one in an arena run. I think I saw one of these in an arena run. Which was crazy to me. But I underestimated this card a lot. It's definitely had a lot of impact. It's made Doomcrag Vampire have a little more draw power to it. If you're going for a while, I think the Namira Shrine was included before Journey to Sovngarde got nerfed. You ran a bunch of charge creatures. You just kept killing them. Journey to Sovngarde, Tullius Conscription. You win the turn. You win that game. You win on that turn. Yeah, it required a lot of setup. Oftentimes, you just draw through your whole deck, then play Journey to Sovngarde, and then Tullius's Conscription. But still, Namira Shrine proved to be quite valuable for it. And that's why it's in my number 2 slot. It is a pretty powerful card. And my number 1, Cast into Time. Now, comparing it to the Memory Wraith, which was banish all creatures in your opponent's graveyard. It depends. Like that, you get a 5/5 with, and you just banish the graveyard, so you can play that as a tempo play. But in this, it's a spell. It's a one-time thing. You got to target, but the amount of it acts as basically a better javelin, if you will. If they have more than one copy of it. If they only have one copy, you kind of hit and a miss there, depending on what you cast into time. But if they got more than one copy and it's a pretty powerful card, you met that one cast into time may have just won you the game right there, and you don't even know it. It is very powerful. Tribunal decks use it. I've used it. I thought, this is a pretty good card. We'll see where it goes, and I had no idea that this is a really powerful card, actually. I don't have too much to say on it, just that it's a very powerful card, so I'm trying to think of stuff. But I don't think I can. I don't think I can for this. So that was my review on the previous sets that have impacted the Houses of Morrowind. Overall, I think it somewhat did, but not as much as I thought it would. I thought it was going to impact it more. I thought we were going to see a permanent Dwemer list go up, or a permanent Dwemer factotum list go up with Return to Clockwork City. I guess not. But if I had one set, if it were to, I'd say they need some more Dwemer cards and more factotum cards in order to make it work. But that's just this one's opinion. And this one likes to thank you for watching. Leave a like if you enjoyed. Hit that subscribe button if you really enjoyed. Don't forget to share this video or any of my other videos to anybody who you think will enjoy my content. The next portion of the review, we're actually going to dive into Houses of Morrowind this time. And we're going to start off with the strength. How I'm going to orient these videos is I'm going to make 2 per day. So today, the day you're watching this, it's going to be this episode and the review on the strength cards. Tuesday is going to be the review on the intelligence and willpower cards. Wednesday is going to be the agility and endurance. Thursday is going to be the triple class, then the neutral, and Friday is going to be basically my top 10. I'm going to explain why it's top 10, and I'm also going to throw in my top 5 personal favorite cards of this expansion. So keep tune in for those. Until next time, guys, take it easy.